we're here to talk about health and wellness today. And to me, the biggest program that people are running on planet Earth right now, in the West in particular, around health in perception, the program that people are running basically goes like this. It basically says, body's not very good at finding solutions to problems. That's the default mechanism that the Western medical model has kind of set up. Body's not good at finding solutions. In fact, part of the program is body doesn't even regenerate. Doctors routinely tell people bone on bone needs surgery. Nerves don't regenerate. Organs don't regenerate. According to doctors, a lot of things don't regenerate. And I'll get to that in a moment. It's not true. The only thing the body does ever is to replicate cells. So it's simply not based in factual reality. So the problem with that program, from my perspective, is that when someone then has an injury or a health challenge or a situation, the default is injury situation, got to go to an expert. Why? Because the body isn't that good at finding solutions. So you go to the expert, you go to the doctor. By the way, my dad is Western trained in medical world, taught at Yale. I have great respect for the medical world, so I don't want to come across. I am not the alternative person that says don't ever go to doctors. Doctors have great importance and relevance. My view is the Western medical system just needs a little fine-tuning. That also is a joke. Little fine-tuning. But it's got great relevance and importance, and we use doctors, and I recommend doctors routinely. Okay, so I'm not into Western medicine. So back to what happens. What happens, you go to the doctor. Doctor's running the same program. So the program is you need something. Because the default is the body is not that good at finding solutions. You need a pharmaceutical. You need another procedure. You need another expert. There's always this perpetual sense of the body needing something. And so what I suggest in our seminars and what the Stillpoint process is about, it's about saying, gee, is that accurate? Do we like that reference, that model? In my life, in my world, I do not use that reference. It's not my reality. And I say this because, to me, we all have the choice. In every moment, we have choice. How do we want to experience our next moment? You know, Deepak Chopra, probably the most famous doctor on planet Earth, next to Dr. Oz, was the most famous. Both of them, interestingly, are alternative-oriented, which is kind of interesting. The two most popular, well-known doctors, both into alternative wellness and health. Well, Deepak was one of the first people that came along. In fact, what put Deepak on the map many years ago was he said, we know that the body is new every 7 or 8 years. That's scientific fact. Some say it's less, some say it's more. Your body is in a constant state of replication. They call it rate of regeneration, ROR. Every single cell in your body has a rate of regeneration. Your eyes, according to Deepak and others, 2 days you have brand new eyes. So Deepak asked a really important question. It's what put him on the map from my perspective. The question he asked was, he said, we know every 7 or 8 years body's new. Why would someone have an injury 10, 15, 20 years later? Doesn't add up. Something's not adding up. He and some other doctors began to look at this. And what they came up with was fascinating. They came up with this theory called cellular memory, which basically says if you get a knee injury or shoulder, the cells in that area can hold on to the information from the injury. And this can work for injuries, for emotions, for thoughts. This is really a fascinating different shift from the traditional view of memory. So the cells in that area hold on to the information. New cells keep coming in, yet the old cell passes that information to the new cell. New cell, brand new vibrant cell, yet it acts and behaves like the old cell. Shut down, not so much energy. And in this way, old stuff is passed on from cell generation to cell generation to cell generation. Works a little bit like family dynamics. You know, what you don't deal with gets passed on to the next generation. You don't want to deal with it, it gets passed on to the next generation. That process goes on and on until someone says, well, hold on here a moment. I don't really like that experience. What do you have to do? You got to own it. Which, of course, nobody wants to do. You didn't create it. Why would you want to own that? Yet you have to own it if you want to clear it. Same thing in the case of the body and cell memory. In fact, to me, this is the biggest problem that I see again and again with the people I work with in the West. Perpetually holding on to stuff. In the East, yogis call it karma. Karma. I don't call it karma. Karma makes it sound very complicated. And like you need to go to India to figure out what it is. Which I did. Which I did only to hear a wonderful yogi and can say, oh, don't worry, it's just karma. That was the only answer I got. You know, whatever the problem, no problem, don't worry, it's karma. It's just karma. Well, eventually I heard that same person say something very interesting. One day he said, there are two things in the universe, karma and love. That was the entire reality that this individual experienced. Everything was a karma, and stayed in the unconditional state of love and truth. So from my perspective, if we understand this, I translate it differently. To me, there's polarity and there's neutrality. It's our choice every moment. You have a choice. Do you want to hold on to stuff? Whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, whether it's psychic. If you hold on to it, that's a choice. That's okay. Well, guess what? Just like your computer, if you have some virus or some program, you turn it on, what's going to be there when you turn it on? Unless you get in there and say, gee, I'm not sure I like this. I'm going to delete it or remove it. That, to me, is what this process with perception and with the laser I'm about to share with you is about. It's my way on a daily basis for going in and finding the things that aren't working and saying, even like last night, that didn't work. It was not a great experience. So we can very easy, you could see after the flight, you know, we waited a few hours and then they said, well, gee, they got another flight. And you saw the group kind of go in two directions. Those saying, okay, we're going to go on the other flight. Those saying, well, hold on here, wait a moment. I'm thinking maybe home's sounding pretty good. So the key when we deal with challenging situations is how do we process that? Does it become something that gets fixated and holds on and we say, well, gee, we're not going to do that again, or we're going to contract? Or is it something we process it, we clear it, and we get back to doing what we're here to do? Everyone go ahead and try something. Everyone go ahead and take a nice big breath in. As the breath comes out, try to hold on to a thought or an emotion. Not so easy. If you really let go and breathe out, it's not so easy. This is key. This is probably the most important thing I'm going to share with you today. Take another. Do again. Another big breath in. Now as the breath comes out, try to hold on to an area of tension or pain in the body. What you'll find if you really let go, the key is you got to really breathe out, let go. When you let go, the body shifts to neutral. This is key. To me, this is the key. This is what I use in everything we're going to touch on today. It comes down to this one point. When you are in this state, contraction, polarity, when you take a breath out, the body shifts into neutrality. The benefit of that is that when you're in neutrality, you can't hold on to polarity. Karma. Can't hold on to things when you're in neutrality. This is what every great shaman, yogi, meditation practice, religion, contemplation, every system has the same story. They go into the wilderness, they go to the mountain, they go in the cave, they go sit under the tree. They quiet down the physical, emotional, psychic things, karmas, until they connect to that neutral energy. When I use neutrality, to me it's akin to prana or chi or universal energy or spirit or whatever name you want to give it. It's like water. You know, we go drink the water. We don't argue. The agua says, no, that's agua. No, it's water. No, it's this. If you're thirsty, you drink the water. Guess what? The water is clear. It's not. You don't need the name. Well, to me, neutrality has the same experience. When you're around it, when I'm around it, I feel, oh my goodness, this feels nice. The heart opens. There's a subtle experience that happens, and you don't argue with someone because of the name. The real ones don't. They say, oh, Taoist, great. We call it chi. Oh, great. Yogi, we call it prana. Oh, great. This, who cares with the name? From my perspective, this perception is really a tuner. You can use it to hold programs from the past, or you can use it as a tuner. I like to use it as a tuner. If you tune this to thinking, you get a lot of thinking. You tune it to emotions, you get a lot of emotions. You tune it to relaxed neutrality, which all of you are experts at, since everyone here sleeps every night. This is not something that is new to anybody. The only key is doing it while we are awake, which is the key. If you can make that slight shift, you're good to go. And in a situation like last night, to me, that's the key. How comfortable are we when the things get tough? We can all do well when things are easy and everything's fun. When the things get tough, which is what's going on planet Earth, how trained up are we to be able to flex, shift, reacclimate, and find a new relativity to respond to that current situation? That's what the Stillpoint process, for me, is all about. Everyone do one more thing, and then we're going to pass out some lasers. Take a nice big breath in. And breathe out. Nice, relaxed, breathe out. Take one more nice big breath in. Now as the breath comes out, just kind of relax, let go. And now as it comes out, just kind of sit right in the space in between the breath. And just rest here for a moment. Just rest in this space between the breath. For new folks, another way to do it is you can take a breath in and just right at the top, just kind of stop at the top. There's a space. The breath is like a pendulum. It goes up and down, and there's a little space at the top, and just kind of stop and kind of feels like holding the breath. This in our seminars is what we call Stillpoint. This space between the breath. Throughout today, in my life, I try to live my whole life right here. I'll say one more thing about this. In my life, like people sleep every night, when you sleep, you reset. All the physical, emotional, psychic things go away. Your lymph system gets stronger. Your white blood cells get stronger. Cleans up the mold, fungus, bacteria that you interacted with throughout the day. Your system reboots. In my life, every hour or two, I take a moment, I drop in, I rest, I clear. In one meeting, I go to a next. I don't want to bring all that stuff. Have some issue with a person or a challenge, like an airplane going down. I don't want to bring that with me into the next moment. So, drop into Stillpoint. Clear it, dissolve it, rest here. There's another person that wrote a book on animals and said that in animals that they go after the prey, and they pick the animals with the weakest energetic field and they go after those. And then another person wrote a famous book on those animals never hold on to that shock. They go and they clear it, they release it. There's a whole bodywork system based on understanding how animals process shock and stress and trauma. Well, humans have had this propensity in the last little season here on planet Earth to hold on to those things. And what our system, our approach, our community is about collectively saying we don't want to hold on to those things. Whatever name you give it, karma, stress. Kairos call it insults. Osteopaths call it energy cysts. Shamans have their word for it. Yogis call it karma. I call it polarity. Deepak calls it cell memory. It's all the same thing. It's just like your computer. You got too much stuff on there, it slows down. You clear the stuff, it starts working. You got too much emotional injuries, thinking, the system shuts down. You dissolve it, clear it, the system starts to open. All we're going to do today is share some different tools to clearing and dissolving some of those things.